Morning, friend. Welcome to my YouTube channel, The Fruitcake Astrologer, where I'll give you an astrologer's view on current events and people in the news. And my goodness, am I getting tons and tons of questions about the Wuhan virus. And I actually ran a chart a few days ago, and I've just been really busy and I haven't had time to read it. So here goes. I am recording this on January 29th, and I noticed last night that many of the mainstream news channels which had been carrying it were only carrying very small stories kind of tucked away. And actually that, maybe alarmed me a little bit more because, are they trying to say nothing to look here, move on? And also, China isn't known for its candor when giving people information about diseases or basically anything going on inside their country. The things that are leaking, if I look on Twitter, are very disturbing. So what does astrology have to say about this? Okay, now this chart is called a Harari, where I get to ask the cosmos a question, and it's, what is the future of the Wuhan virus? And I'm bringing the 6 to rise because I'm asking a health question. And it looks radical to me in that the moon is in the 6th house of health and Virgo rises, which is a sign of health. Now, in this reading, I'm going to try to keep my astro speak a little bit less. People are like, we just want the info. We don't want the astro speak. So I'm going to try to keep as much of that out of this as I can. I can't totally get rid of it, but I'm going to try to keep it to a minimum. So facts. What do we know? Okay, we know that China has said that there are, I think, 5,000 or 6,000 people now, quote unquote, infected. The death toll has risen over 100. It's coming, if you believe the stats, it's got about a 2% fatality rate. What do we know? We know that it's airborne transmission. Okay, they've told us that much. And they also suspect that it can be passed on asymptomatically. In other words, somebody who looks healthy can be infected and passing it on, and plus the incubation rate is for 2 weeks. So wow, I mean that's the trifecta of bad news. Now let's get into the realm of rumors. Okay, these are not substantiated, they are but rumors, and the rumors say that it escaped from a biohazard or biotech laboratory in Wuhan. Okay, there's rumors about that, so I'll take a look at that rumor. Another rumor is that it's far worse than people are saying, and I have seen videos of people, literally passing out on the streets in China, but it could be maybe they've been stuck in their houses and they can't get their diabetes medication or their heart medication. Maybe it has absolutely nothing to do with the Wuhan virus, just that their hospitals are kind of overloaded. So note that the moon is at 1 degree. Okay, that means this is all just the beginning. Okay, it's also in Pisces. I believe viruses are ruled by Neptune. We can't see them but they're there. But so that's difficult. Then you will notice the moon is next over Neptune and Venus in a tight T-square with Mars. So that rumor that this escaped from a research lab, that would support that this was a weaponized virus, Mars in Sag. Note how Venus and Neptune are separating from Mars. In other words, it got away. This happened in the past. And it's next over Uranus, which is in really tough shape in the sign of money, in the 8th house. And I think this is going to cause terrible financial disruption. Note the 8th house of death, okay, is ruled by Mars and Sag. So it would literally say that this is on fire. Okay, so Sagittarius is a fire sign, and Mars in a T-square. So in my opinion, I think it's far worse than they're telling us. How deadly is it? Well, we look at the 8th house of death, which is ruled by Mars, and Mars basically is without positive applying aspect. They're all difficult and they're all applying, meaning it's going to get worse. Now, you could argue that the Chinese government officials are ruled by the midheaven in Gemini. Okay, and Gemini is ruled by Mercury. And Mercury is in the 6th house of health, so they're talking. And I would believe that many of what the Chinese are saying is to keep this from being economically worse, because Mercury is in Aquarius, and Aquarius is in the 8th house of money. We already know the Chinese economy had the worst year in 30 years, and now add this virus out of control and people closing their borders. I think the Chinese officials are trying to keep the financial damage as little as possible. Now look at the nature of my question. I'm asking about the future of the Wuhan virus, which means the virus is represented by Mercury. Okay, so is the virus going to be successful? Take advantage of opportunities that come its way? Well, the moon's final aspect is a sextile to Pluto and Saturn in the 5th house. So this says to me that it will have opportunities, and we haven't heard about it affecting children, but the moon's final aspect is a sextile to Pluto and Saturn, both malefics, in the 5th house of children. So I'm wondering if children are being affected. I haven't heard of anybody except for the people over 60, they say mostly. You'll also notice Pluto rules the 3rd house, which rules grade school age children. So that doesn't look so good. Now I'm looking at that Mercury Gemini, which does everything twice. Gemini's the twins, ruling the midheaven. It also rules the virus. Mercury rules the virus. Virgo rules both Mercury and Gemini. And I would literally say that this virus was owned by the government, again indicating perhaps it was weaponized and got out. But it would also say that they've got, I don't know if this means the virus is going to mutate into 2 strains, Gemini, or the Chinese government has, 2 lines, one line of talk that they give to the public and another line of talk that they talk amongst themselves on a scientific realm. Uranus also rules science. Another thing that would support that this virus is just gaining strength is that you'll notice the moon, it's a new moon right now, which is also adds energy to anything. This is a little more radical, but you'll notice the moon is going to go up and trine the North Node in Cancer in the 10th house. And Cancer rules the home, family, mother. And one could argue, and the North Node is karma, that this is some karma for potentially their one-child policy coming back, and, some karmic stuff going on there. More confirmation this is just going to get worse is the moon is contra-parallel Fortuna in the 12th house. And I think it might become more public because it's in Leo, and the hospitals, we know they're all building hospitals, and that I'm not certain that is going to work out for them. Another thing that might support saying this virus is going to mutate into a couple strains is the fact that the whole chart is exceedingly mutable. Okay, so potentially not good. I'm so sorry to be bad news, guys. I mean, it just seems like the world is just full of it these days. I get lots of people asking me about the virus. I figured I'd just do a recording and be done with it. Of course, I will mention this. If I hadn't flipped the chart and brought the 6 to rise, the moon would be void, of course, and it would mean this is just a big fat nothing burger. So let's hope that I am wrong and everything's going to be fine. But if I read the chart according to my current knowledge, it looks like this is just beginning. It's going to get far worse. It looks like it was weaponized. It looks like it's going to mutate. I would expect eventually this to affect children. This might be karmic for the Chinese government. North Node in the 10th house. So anyway, you know, we all need to keep the Chinese in our prayers. I'm also worried about all the people in Wuhan who are now stuck in their apartments. I mean, they have to be getting hungry by now. I hope, you know, that they're, you know, we need to say strong prayers for the Chinese. We need to pray for the Chinese leaders that they, you know, have an eye opener and realize their people are their biggest strength. So thanks for listening, guys. If you like this, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks.